So let's say you're outside in the middle of the night and you're looking up to the stars and you know this is the universe and you're mesmerized by the beauty of it. And you're looking at the stars and you know they shine. And you know they're not shining because they have their own free will. You know they're shining because the universe wants them to shine. So you know this is the universe. But then you're looking down at the ground. You see some ants. They're doing what they're doing, but you come to find out that maybe they don't have their own free will, but maybe they're also just doing what they're doing because the universe wants them to do what they're doing. And then you're looking at your hand, thinking about your cells that are making up your hand. Maybe those cells feel like they have their own will, but they actually don't. Maybe they're also just doing whatever the universe wants them to do. Then you're looking at people, and you know that they think that they have their own free will, but maybe they are also just doing what the universe wants them to do. So you're surrounded by the universe in that moment, but you feel like a separate self. So it's me and the universe. And it's obvious because it feels like I am separate. There's a feeling of I choose what I want to do. Because I can freely think what I want, I can move my body, I can choose how to behave. I have my own free will, which is what is separating me from the universe. There's this feeling of I exist, I, separate self. But what if I'm not really responsible for feeling this way? What if it's just the universe's will to feel like I'm a separate self? Because there are a lot of people in the non-dual scene who are trying to get rid of a separate self, but they can't because there's no separate self with a free will that can use its own will to get rid of a self. So there's no separate self that can get rid of a separate self because it never existed. It's just a feeling. And you're not creating that feeling and you're not responsible for that feeling of being a separate self. It's just what the all is doing, what the universe is doing. So you're watching this video because the universe wants to watch that video through you. You. So not through you, but the universe is watching that video. And that video is being recorded by the universe. So in that moment there's a very clear Satori, because you're not surrounded by the universe. You are that, surrounded by yourself, because you understand that all your feelings are not created by you, they just came out of nowhere. You cannot do anything about it, about those feelings. They just came. Thoughts, they come, they don't belong to you. If you try to find that separate self that claims to be the owner of those thoughts and feelings, you won't find it. There's just this. Thoughts come out of nowhere. Feelings, desires, the will to move like this comes out of nowhere. So it's just that. Some non-dual teachers say, this is it. It's just that. That the mind wants to understand. But you have to understand that the mind that tries to understand is just another occurrence, another appearance that you didn't create. If you would have free will and someone's breaking your heart, you would just choose to not feel sad. Or when you're waking up in the morning and you're tired, you would just choose to be euphoric. You would just choose to be happy all the time. to be flawless all the time. So we are not separate beings, separated from the universe and everything is nature, but we are humans. So there's like a distinction. We are humans, but this is nature and we are something else. Like we are the ones choosing what happens with nature. But actually we are inseparable from nature. So whatever we are doing is natural actually. It's also natural to think that it's unnatural. But in actuality, there's no separation. It's all one. It feels like integration. It can feel like you're integrating and accepting whatever appears. So, for example, at some stages in your life, you might think that, or you feel like there are things that are unacceptable. For example, when someone's venting at you, and then you start to freak out because you think that there's an ego that you have to protect. But then there's like an integration because you notice that you're not separated. And then there's just this calmness that when someone's venting at you, you have this ability, you seemingly have this ability to stay calm. Because, not because you are suppressing negative emotions, but because you understand that not being calm actually causes chaos. So all the negative things that are happening in the world get even worse when we are feeling negative about them. Like that's how those things are happening in the first place. Like there are horrible things that are going on. But what happens, someone becomes aware of what is going on, then that person is spreading the message, then everybody's aware, then everybody is feeling negative about it, and nobody's doing anything about it. And everybody's negative, and then there's even more chaos, and nobody is solving the problem. And there's no one here, there's no separate being here that could solve the problem, but it's just a natural way that the universe works. After chaos, it is natural for order to come in. In order, there's a sign that order is coming in when more and more people are becoming more accepting and peaceful with themselves. When people are evolving from a survival state, ego-based, ego-driven state when it's all about me, so I have to take everything from you so that I can feel better about myself, when it's changing from that to a state of being where it's more about connection and oneness. And that's not something you can attain or achieve, it's something you can only realize because that oneness was already here. It was just veiled. So becoming natural is not something that can happen over time. It is something that is recognized in an instant. I think that's the trap. The the feeling that we have to achieve a natural state, which keeps us in this artificial state. Effort keeps you in an artificial state. We are living life. Feels like there is a lot of effort that we have to invest in life, and then we become spiritual people. So that's not doesn't take. It's not so hard anymore. So we think spirituality takes away the effort. Then we're spiritual people, and we put even more effort in spirituality than life, forgetting the purpose of spirituality, which is it should take away the effort of life. It should open you up and connect you to something that is bigger than your separate self. Maybe even dissolve your separate self. So it's about dropping that mind filled with the desire to put in all sorts of effort. Like, for example, enjoy your friendships or family. Because oftentimes what happens is that we are spending time with friends, but then we're thinking about work. Or we're spending time with family, and we're thinking about something that we have to find out. Like, I cannot enjoy my time with my family as long as I don't get non-duality. See? I had a phase in my life when I wanted to find out everything. Like, why are we here? Who created existence? Then I followed the deepest rabbit holes. And I wanted to find out everything about, even Anunnakis and stuff like that. And it was very interesting, but it was like, man. It was just a mind fuck. And now I know that I know nothing. It's just useless information for nothing. And there are a lot of spiritual teachers who are talking about this and that, and you should do this, you should do that, and that's stressful. My message to you is enjoy the moment right now and trust that the universe, or call it whatever you want, God, or your true self, the non-dual, whatever, anatta, this bliss, this love, which is residing deep inside of everything, it will act through you when it's needed. Just trust. You do not have to carry all this knowledge here. How to behave, how to do this. All is well.